The Makabayan coalition throws its weight behind Vice President and presidential hopeful Leni Robredo. This as Bayan Muna Chairman Neri Colmenares gets a spot in Isambayan's Senate slate. The very public row between Comm Commissioner Rowena Guanzon and Marcos Jr.'s Partido Federal ng Pilipinas continues. Patafa has officially disowned EJ Obiena, saying they will no longer consider the star pole vaulter as their athlete. And a new zombie series from South Korea is taking the world by storm. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know to jumpstart your weekend. I'm Riza Diaz. The Makabayan coalition has finally revealed their presidential bet for the 2022 elections in the person of Vice President Leni Robredo. Recall that Makabayan had held off on formally endorsing Robredo due to concerns of closing the door on unifying non-administration aspirants. But as the elections drew near, the prospect of unifying non-administration bets became unlikely. This is the first time that Makabayan is endorsing a presidential aspirant hailing from the once ruling Liberal Party. Meanwhile, Isambayan added Bayan Muna Chair Neri Colmenares to its Senate slate on Friday. The opposition coalition has initially named 7 personalities as their Senate bet, which mirrored the lineup of their preferred presidential candidate, Vice President Leni Robredo. However, Colmenares has not been included in the Vice President's lineup so far. Comm Commissioner Rowena Guanzon has disclosed her vote to disqualify presidential aspirant Bongbong Marcos from the May elections. But will it still count if the resolution is filed after she retires? Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro gives us a front seat to the story.
Comm Commissioner Rowena Guanzon's vote to disqualify presidential candidate Bongbong Marcos would be cancelled by Wednesday next week. That's if the COMELEC First Division fails to decide on the Marcos case before Guanzon goes into retirement on February 2. This much is clear from a Supreme Court decision on a similar case in 2001.
It is as if she did not sign. So ang bibilangin lang yung mga nakapirma.
Kung siya po ay nagretiro at hindi pa ho ipinalabas itong desisyon na ito, mag-aantay ng panibagong commissioner para mabuo na naman yung tatlo.
In its 2001 decision in Dumayas versus Comelec, the Supreme Court ruled that the vote of a commissioner is considered automatically withdrawn if the commissioner retires or leave office before the promulgation.
The principle is that if it's not yet promulgated, it's not binding. And if at the time the decision is promulgated, the justice who signed it, or the commissioner in this case who signed it, has already retired or resigned or died, the signature is already considered withdrawn.
Guanzon says an unidentified politician has been pressuring the commission to delay the promulgation in order to nullify her vote. But as controversial as the statements of Guanzon may be, election lawyer Buko de la Cruz said a delayed decision and a withdrawn vote is not unusual.
Marami ng ganyang kaso, kaya nga meron tayong Dumayas, meron tayong Hamil versus Comelec. Marami nang nauna na hindi naman si Guanzon lang ang nauna na nagre-retire. Pero dito lang, siya lang yung maingay na gusto niyang ilabas yung desisyon na napirmahan na niya.
The credibility of the COMELEC, the credibility of the May 2022 elections, it is at stake.
Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro, we are One News.
After exchanging barbs with COMELEC Commissioner Guanzon, Partido Federal ng Pilipinas General Counsel Attorney George Briones declines her invitation to partake in a debate. Guanzon initially challenged Briones to a debate on Twitter after she bared her vote to disqualify Marcos Jr. But through a statement, Briones declined Guanzon's invitation, saying that it is in keeping with their fraternity's code to respect a sorority sister. Still, the party threatened the commissioner with a disbarment case. Now, although Guanzon remains unfazed, saying she will always fight all wrongdoers and is now threatening to hold the general counsel in contempt. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Consumers are reeling from the high price hike in cooking oil and sugar in the market. But the government maintains sugar supply is more than enough for 5 months. Mon Gualvez has the report.
Fishbowl vendor Daryl Miranda typically consumes more than half a gallon of cooking oil a day. But now, he scrimps and does his best to make do with half gallon because the price of the oil he uses has increased.
Pagka ganyang mahal na, ano lang, paninda, kunti lang. Titipirin mo naman talaga ang budget mo. Pag halimbawa na umabot na ng 3 araw, dispose na.
Problem is, he can't just raise the price of the food he sells to offset the higher oil prices.
Kung sa ganun, kung tataas tayo, parang mawawalan din tayo ng customer.
In Kamuning Market in Quezon City, what used to be 85 pesos for 1.5 liters of cooking oil is now 120 pesos. According to sellers, prices have started to go up since last year.
Wala namang magagawa kasi pag tinaas talaga, mataas. Hindi naman kami pwedeng magreklamo dyan.
At the moment, News 5 is still trying to get a statement from the Philippine Coconut Authority about the hike in cooking oil prices. Aside from this, consumers also complain about high sugar prices. What used to be 45 pesos per kilo became 55 pesos in December and is now a whopping 70 pesos per kilo. Buyers have no choice but to just do their best to make ends meet.
Kailangan bumili pa rin. No choice naman lagi eh.
The Sugar Regulatory Administration or SRA said it is continuously monitoring the retail prices of sugar to see if it will go beyond the suggested retail price. In a statement, SRA Administrator Hermenegildo Serafica said, per his meeting with sugar traders in Manila and other regions, raw sugar production has actually gone up by more than 3% as of January 16 this year. Even production of refined sugar went up 46% compared to last year. This means there's really no reason for sugar prices to hike, especially because the country has more than 300,000 metric tons of raw sugar supply that will suffice for more than 3 months. While there's more than 200,000 metric tons of refined and on-hand sugar supply that will last for almost 2 months. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
In sports, the Philippine Athletics Track and Field Association or PATAFA announced that they will no longer treat EJ Obiena as their athlete. In a statement, PATAFA said that they will move on from its role with Obiena and his team. This was after the federation concluded their internal investigation into Obiena. With this, PATAFA will no longer support their former star pole vaulter, claiming that Obiena has already found people who will finance his training abroad and cost of living. The world number 5, meanwhile, announced that he is pushing back his season debut as he continues to recover from his knee surgery. This means Obiena will not see action in the INIT indoor meeting happening today. But EJ is still expected to compete in the ISTAF indoor in Berlin on February 4. Now, over in the NBA, the league has announced the starters for the 2022 All-Star Game on February 20. Once again, LeBron James and Kevin Durant will be team captains in this year's All-Star Game. Joining James in the Western Conference are Golden State Warriors guard Steph Curry, Memphis Grizzlies guard Ja Morant, reigning NBA MVP Niko Jokic, and Warriors forward Andrew Wiggins. Meanwhile, in the East, Durant is joined by Chicago Bulls guard DeMar DeRozan and Atlanta Hawks guard Trae Young, while Philadelphia 76ers center Joel Embiid and Milwaukee Bucks forward Giannis Antetokounmpo will round up the front court. A new South Korean series about zombies is taking Netflix by storm. MJ Marfori has the details.
After the global hit Squid Games in 2021, South Korea is at it again. With a new zombie thriller called All of Us Are Dead, now streaming on Netflix. Before its premiere, the trailer has already over 12 million views. But what sets it apart from other zombie series? Saga director Lee Jae-kyu had this to say.
원작이 한국에서는
Most of the zombies have only hunger that drives them, but our zombies have terror that drives them.
While the series is an adaptation from a webtoon, Q said that they made some aspects different.
저는 일단 식량 확보를 하고
The character and the decisions that they make can be a little bit different from the original webtoon. And I think what's most important is that decisions made by teens who are, immature, they can provide us adults with some food for thought.
One of the cast, Park Ji-hoo, also added that it has some allegorical touch to what's happening now.
Because we are experiencing this pandemic right now, I thought that was why All of Us Are Dead became more realistic to me, and I think it will resonate with a lot of people.
For News 5, MJ Marfori, we are One News.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later again at 9 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.